Hello everyone, CSWord here, and I have a slightly different video today. So I had to reset my computer and I lost everything related to Minecraft. So I decided to take a look at all the various different launchers and see which one I like the best. Now, I need one that can launch the base vanilla game, as well as some mods and mod packs. And I just Google searched the modded Minecraft launcher. These are the results I got, and we can immediately eliminate like half of the list. So, Articraft and Helios are one mod pack specific for their own one server. Feed the Beast, Technic, are both mod pack specifics. Like, they only have a few mod packs that you can install. You can't add more to the list, and only one of them you can actually install the base vanilla game. Twitch, yeah, that's not really a modded Minecraft launcher. It's just, it has that on the side, but it's more focused on just using Twitch. Then the Magic Launcher and the original Minecraft launcher no longer work. That just leaves us with ATLauncher, GDLauncher, the current Minecraft launcher, MultiMC, and SKLauncher. So let's go ahead and get started with the current launcher of the game. So we can change our version down here and we can hit play. Sometimes it'll say play offline if we are not connected to the server as indicated up here. We can edit our installations by hitting this tab, adding new ones, including any snapshot or historical build. By default, we were given the latest full release or a snapshot, and we can make edits to those by hitting the three dots and hitting edit or hitting anywhere behind that. And we can then change the name or version number, except for the default to, and download the server for that version. We can change the game directory, which by default is .minecraft. I don't know of anyone who changes it. The resolution, which no one cares about because we all go full screen. Java executable, which by default is left blank because the launcher comes with Java 8.51, which is a severely outdated version, but Mojang insists is the best. And we are by default given 2 gigs of RAM. Alright, we have a skins tab where you can easily swap and change between skins in the library here, which is far quicker than the old way of having to log into Minecraft.net. A patch notes tab, which we can enable snapshots and see the literal copy paste from Minecraft.net. A news tab, which if you click any of these, you guessed it, will redirect you to Minecraft.net. Alright, there's a link under the settings. We can change the language. Use beta launcher. I enabled that to see if there were any differences. There's absolutely none. Keep the launcher open while the game's running. This does nothing because if you open up Task Manager, even without this checked, it will still always be running. Open output log when game starts and send crash report to Mojang. Under the accounts, you can add multiple accounts, and there's an Abouts tab. Now, we also have this listing here for Minecraft Dungeons, which even months after the game has been released has not seen any integration. I even have Dungeons and Bedrock installed, and they are of no use on this launcher. Anyway, as far as mods go, to install mods, you just need to install Fabric or Forge so that they show up in the list right here. Throw your mods into your mods folder in .minecraft, and hope and pray that everything works and cooperates just fine. Alright, and for the most popular mod, Optifine, it's actually the easiest to install on the default launcher, as it'll just show up as an extra version in the list right here. And mod packs, yeah, just forget it. That ain't happening. Alright, so anywhere you install the launcher, it will add 3 folders, including the Java runtime, which again is useless if you install a later version of the Java. And if you install the installer for Minecraft, then it's just going to put all this stuff in your programs file. And for .minecraft, it's going to create all of this unnecessary garbage that you don't really need or need to care about. So let's move on to the next launcher and hope that it is better than the default one. Okay, so the SKLauncher is the closest to the official launcher, and this is what it will look like when you first sign in. Alright, it starts off on a news tab for the launcher itself, and we can go over to the log and see everything that's happening without having to crash the game to see this. Alright, we can change the users to have multiple accounts signed in or keep playing the same one. Under launcher settings, we have a few settings, and by few I mean 2, the language and theme. Not much to merit a window for it. For profiles, we can select ones down here, or we can add new ones, and type in the new name, select a version. By default, we are given the snapshot and historical builds, and the resolution and directory are again listed, although I don't know of anyone who uses those. For the ones we have installed, we just select the one we want. We can hit play down here to play it, double click it to play it, or hit the 3 dots and hit launch to again play it. 3 ways to do the same thing, but okay. We can edit, duplicate, open directory, or delete it. Under the edit, we can also delete it or open directory, so again, double downing, but okay, that's fine. For the profile, we can change the name or the version, and enable compatibility mode for skins in older versions where they didn't work out so well. Under the game settings, we can just change the directory, the resolution, again, things no one really cares about. And, oh, what's this? We can enable full screen by default without having to first open the game, go into full screen, close the game, and hope that it opens full screen next time you open it. Official launcher. And then under the launcher visibility, we get 3 options here to hide and reopen when game closes. Just close it or keep it open. At least this one doesn't lie when we change these settings. And then under advanced, we have Java executable. By default, it will find the latest version of Java on your computer. And for arguments, it lists the same ones. And for the RAM, it chose for me the exact halfway point, which is 8 gigs for me, although you can select any half amount on your computer. All right, so under the actual directory, there are 3 files and 1 folder, aside from the versions folder. A lot simpler and cleaner than Minecraft's official launcher. Why is theirs just so bad? I don't know. Anyway, to install mods, it's practically the exact same as the official launcher. You have to install Fabric or Forge, put them in that folder, in the mods folder. Optifine will show up on the list right here. It's all the same. All right, so moving on to a slightly different launcher, like MultiMC. So the reason I'm on the setup screen is because the next page has the option to change our Java version and allocate memory, something the other launchers you can only do in the settings tab. So when you first open up MultiMC, you got to sign into an account. You can go to Profiles, Manage Accounts, or go to the Settings and Accounts there. From there, you can add and remove accounts, set a default one if you have multiple ones installed, or upload a skin. However, there's no library, so all the skins have to be saved somewhere else on the computer and then uploaded to that one account. Anyway, for MultiMC settings, you can change between stable and development builds and check for updates automatically and change the folders, because MultiMC will save everything inside of one folder where the MultiMC is. And so instances will save everything for all your instances, all the versions, saves, screenshots, everything is just going to be saved in this one folder. And you can change that right here. Now, a few things will escape out of those folders, like Astral Sorcery has a few things that end up in the .minecraft folder in app data, but those are far and few between. Anyway, you can also change UI, console, and sand analytics if you want. There's a tab here listed Minecraft, which you can change the window. Again, don't know why anyone's still bothering to include this, especially when it has its own tab for that. Java and language, if you need to change those for when you first set up MultiMC. Custom commands and proxy, I've never used. External tools, if you have JProfiler, JVisualVM, or MCEdit installed, they're going to be a lot easier to use here. And so, yeah, we can enter our instances, but we don't have any. So we need to either right-click and say Create, or hit Add Instance up here. Now, we can type in a name and a group, or just leave those blank. The name will be automatically chosen by the version or modpack that we install. However, if you ever update it, it's going to keep that same name in the instance folder, even if you rename it on MultiMC. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, for all the vanilla things down here, all the full releases are listed. If we disable releases, everything gets shown up, and we can enable these one at a time if we want to keep it clear. Experiments are just the combat updates, by the way. So we can also import things from either a direct URL or a zip file from CurseForge if we have a mod pack there, and there are a few Feed the Beast legacy packs, public ones, third party, and private if you have any of those still downloaded and ready to use. So let me just go ahead and use 1.16.3 as an example here. Now, when you want to run the game, you can just double click it, hit launch, or hit launch offline, it doesn't matter. Or you could right click and say to do any of these things that are also listed over here. So, okay, a little weird to have them in 2 locations and still no clean UI. But when you launch, you can launch regularly with JProfiler or JVisualVM. Now, edit instance, notes, view worlds, manage screenshots, and change group. These will all take you to this one box window for the console of the instance. Now, from here, you can change the version. You can just hit change version, do something like that. You can also install Fabric and Forge very easily. Install mods. I don't know why they bothered to include this when you can just add the mods into your loader mods folder right here. You can also open up the .minecraft folder. It'll just take you to the instances, that instance name, .minecraft. And then you can also drag and drop in resource packs if you don't want to bother opening that folder. Same with worlds, servers, screenshots. Notes, you can type in whatever you want as a note for that. And change settings if you don't want to follow any of the global settings that you've selected in settings. Now, down here, you can also select Minecraft folder, config folder, instance folder. These will all open up still the exact same folder, 1.16.3 inside of the instances. Yeah, they're kind of redundant to keep those, but okay. Now, you can also export, delete, and copy the instance. Those are exactly as they sound. If you want to, like, transport this over to another copy of MultiMC, you just do that. If you want to delete it and, you know, copy it to make a subtle change. Now, down here, we can see the authentication and API for Mojang servers, as well as the skins. And right here, it's telling me I need to update to version 0.6.7 for UI fixes, although I'm on version 0.6.11. I would recommend this if you know what you're doing, but for those who don't, let's move on. Next up is ATLauncher. When you open it up, it'll start off with a console window, and when the main launcher appears, we can just go ahead and say hide that. Let's go ahead and open the folder and see where everything is installed. Similar to MultiMC, it gets all put in one folder where your launcher is, but this one only has a launcher.jar and not a whole bunch of files going with it. So everything will be saved inside of your instances folder, just like MultiMC. Anyway, on the actual launcher here, we have several tabs. The first one is news for the launcher itself. Vanilla packs, featured packs, and packs are where we install all our versions of the game. Now, under packs, we can add CurseForge ones by just typing in a URL or using a zip file. And then under vanilla, we can actually install Forge, Pure Vanilla, Fabric, and the alpha beta ones. However, the problem with this is we cannot install classic versions or snapshot versions, because if I say new instance for the vanilla one, yeah, the snapshot ones do not appear. But we do get this setting to say enable user lock, so it will only, this version will only work for whatever user you are signed in as. Speaking of users, you have to sign into an account to even download any of the packs, even the pure vanilla ones. Anyway, once you have a pack installed, it'll be under your instances, and you can either play it, you can reinstall it if something went wrong, rename it, back it up, settings if you want to change anything from your global settings, clone, delete. Now, edit and edit mods is a lot simpler than on MultiMC, where you have to open up the console, go to the mods folder or the mods tab, and then select which ones you want to enable and disable. They're just right here. The servers button here will just open up a page in your web browser to show you full servers for that one version of the game, and the open folder here will take us to the instance for that instance. Alright, then under servers here, if you have any mod packs installed, they'll show you a server for that mod pack, which is rather convenient instead of having to search for them yourself and then finding out some of them are not even there anymore. Yeah, this is just a lot easier way of doing that. Alright, so then under tools here, there are a few things to just see if like the Minecraft is up and all those things. Then settings, there are quite a few things here. Language, theme, there's only one. Date format, sort alphabetically or chronologically is what they should have labeled that. Keep launcher open when the game's running. Console, tray icon, Discord integration, I disabled those, I don't need them. Pack tags, and disable mod restrictions, so if like it says, hey, there's going to be an issue here, you can just forcibly override that. Then we have a Java Minecraft tab where we can change our allocation. The permgen and Java parameters are the arguments for the other ones. Java path is our executable, again, chose the latest one. Window size, again, don't know why anyone's still using that. I thought that this one here called Start Minecraft Maximized would be full screen, but no, there's a difference between maximized and full screen. Maximized will still keep like your start bar and everything there, but full screen is like actual full screen mode. Alright, and then under network, if you are creating a server, which you can actually do by just hitting create server when you're on the vanilla packs side, you can create one there. Under login there, if you want to keep log of things. Tools, this is enable server checker, which should probably be in the network tab, and backups, a whole tab dedicated to one option, enable mods backup. Kind of useless. So in retrospect, this is kind of a rather clean looking mod or launcher, especially for mod packs, and they could really just do with a few improvements. Mostly it's just this dumb scroll bar that's just in the way, and the fact that you have to install that it's calling vanilla packs a thing. I mean, it could be a little confusing to some people, but it's pretty good. So moving on to the last one, and last up on the list is the GDLauncher. So when you open it up, it'll look something like this, where this whole area down here will be blank, and you'll have just this like half banner of Minecraft news going across the top here. Doesn't resize even when you change the window. So let's go ahead and just remove that. So hitting the settings tab, we can see a few of the settings. We can change between stable and beta releases, have multiple downloads going on at once, change between stable, alpha, and beta for CurseForge downloads, Discord integration. Here it is, news. Let's disable that, and we can hide the launcher while playing. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's only going to hide it. It's not going to disable it like the official launcher claims. And then Potato PC mode, if you have a really bad computer, you can enable this, and it'll maximize optimization for just giving you the best performance without you needing to do it yourself. Clear share data, this will pretty much just delete everything. User data path, now this is where everything gets saved, and by default it's going to be in your app data roaming GDLauncher _next. You can change that by hitting the folder here, and if you have stuff already there, you can say copy current data to the new directory, and then when you're ready, you hit apply and restart. So it's acting a lot like MultiMC, but different. Anyway, then under the Java settings here, we can select our Java executable. By default, I had to do it myself. Now, if you don't know how to do that, you can just run the Java setup right here, and it will install one for you. Then game resolution, again, no one cares, even if you do have presets. Java memory, for once we just get a slide bar, making it much easier to see. I'll just leave it at 8 gigs, which is where it was by default. And Java arguments just like before, and a reset button for all of that. Anyway, so now that that banner across the top is gone, to play a game, all we would do is hover over the instance we want and hit play. Now let's say I want to add a new one. I just hit the plus button down here. I can say create, browse modpacks, or import instance if we had one. I don't know if it's cross-compatible with like MultiMC or not, but anyway, let's browse a few modpacks, and okay, we can see a few of them right here. And we can actually even scroll through and look at different versions, categories, features. This is pretty much all of the CurseForge stuff without going to the actual website. Now let's go ahead and actually add an instance, and I will select, we can even go between vanilla releases, snapshots, even the alpha ones, and yes, the classic ones are listed down here, but I'm going to go ahead and install a version of Fabric because I need carpet. And while that's doing that, let's go over some of the other things. So we can have multiple accounts down here. I'll click the account, we can add more or delete the ones we have, and oh, that was pretty quick. Anyway, I guess I'll manage this. And so we see that it's version 1.16 with Fabric Loader. This is the version of it. And if we want to, we can manually override a few things like game resolution, memory, and the other Java arguments. Now here we can add mods, and this is much simpler than a few of the other ones, because hitting add mods, we can just go ahead and search carpet. And oh, what's this? We get carpet right here. And just like that, carpet's installed. I don't have to download it or do anything like that. And here's where we select if we want to delete or do stuff like that. Enable, disable, just like so. Now we get a notes tab where we can enter notes about these, and we get a lot of customization for entering these notes, and quick access to screenshots. Now we also have the folder here to go to the folder for these, or you could just right click and say open folder, and it'll open the folder in, again, roaming GDLauncher next instances, the name of that instance. Alright, and let's go to the overall standings. Alright, so here are the 5 launchers we just went over in order, and let's start off by looking at the size in megabytes. Now clearly one of these is not like the others. The winner of this category is clearly the SKLauncher. Immediately with a close second is the GDLauncher. You can look at the rest of the data yourself, but the reason the default launcher is probably so big is because it insists on installing an outdated version of Java. Anyway, moving on to the system memory, or the resources that each one uses, the MultiMC is the clear winner of this category, with the default launcher pretty close behind, but still a little ways off, 4 times as much. And then while you start the game or have it running, the winner again is MultiMC with the default launcher just behind it. Now the 75 here is if you just have it secretly running in the background and you open up Task Manager, you can see that is the total. And if you tell it to keep the launcher open, it'll be 125. So that's why I kept those two distinguished. Now, the reason I put an asterisk here for the SKLauncher at 400 is that's if you tell it to keep the launcher open. Because if you tell it to close, it will close and will leave you at 0, making it the actual winner of this category. Now, granted, 50 megabytes or 0 or 75, like these are really, really small numbers. Just not 300, unlike some launchers. Anyway, when it comes to installing mods, the GDLauncher is clearly the greatest, as you can install individual mods on the fly very easily, custom mod packs, everything. And then the ATLauncher, I placed it above MultiMC because it has more mod packs and are more up to date, unlike MultiMC where, yeah, they're slightly outdated legacy Feed the Beasts. But both of these can install mods and Fabric and Forge, but just not as easy as the GDLauncher, who doesn't even need a web browser. And then, yeah, the default launcher and SKLauncher, sorry, you're just not meant for mods. But the SKLauncher, you are the best for UI and ease of use. I could not see one that was simpler than that. Followed by the GDLauncher, you're just a little bit more complicated than the SKLauncher, but you're still pretty good. Then I have to place the default launcher in third, mostly because it's okay, it's understandable, but like it's been the same for years now, and it could really use some improvements, especially when it comes to mods. But Anyway, the ATLauncher and the MultiMC, yeah, in terms of ease of use, you guys are very complicated. The ATLauncher, the only reason I'd place you even higher than MultiMC would probably because you can install mod packs much easier without having to click add instance. You just click packs and then you can install them there, but that's still not that easy to understand. Anyway, MultiMC, yeah, sorry, you're just not good enough. Your UI sucks. ATLauncher, yours is way too bulky. You guys just need to fix this. Anyway, moving on to the actual files that the launcher creates, they're all cross-platform, so it doesn't matter. And then standalone, they're all kind of standalones. Now, for the GDLauncher, I put down no. That's because it all installs all of its files in a app data roaming folder instead of program files, and it shows up in the uninstall file list, but it's not really an install. It's kind of just its own thing. And then the default launcher and the SKLauncher, it's putting files in .minecraft and wherever the folder is for the default launcher. So it's not kind of standalone like the MultiMC or ATLauncher where everything is in that one folder. So they're all kind of yes, but really only these two are the true yeses for standalone installs. Anyway, I'd say that the actual winner of this whole thing is the GDLauncher. By far, it's the best when it comes to using and installing mods. Much simpler to use than MultiMC or ATLauncher. And if you don't care about mods, then by far I recommend the SKLauncher. No resources requirement pretty much, and yeah, it's pretty simple and easy to use. Just anything beats the default launcher. Mojang, you need to fix this. Anyway, that's all I have for today, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.